So there's no rhyme or reason to, if I peel a pear or juice a pear, other than whatever happens to be the simplest at the moment for that particular piece of fruit. Like if they have a rotten spot, it's probably easier just to cut that off, cut it into pieces, and then put it through the juicer rather than trying to peel just that partial piece of fruit. So, got pears in here, and I just kind of look at it and make a decision. My intention with the pears that are in pieces and that I'm getting the seeds out of, I'll either can them in jars with a liquid solution, probably with a little cinnamon, and sugar and something acidic to help keep it shelf stable. And then whatever I don't use for canning pieces like that, I will boil, or actually probably put in my Instapot and just cook until they're really soft. Puree those, and then with the puree, or when they're soft, I'll mash them or whatever. I will make preserves out of that part. I would like to take some of them, if I have enough that are like a good shape and size, to make into slices that I can make like chips with. I have a freeze dryer, and I'd be interested to see how these turn out when they're freeze dried. They're not super sweet. I mean, they're sweet, but they're not like overly sweet. So I think freeze drying would be a good option, since when you take the liquid, freeze dry it out of the fruit, it actually makes what you come up with, the dried part, sweeter. It tastes amazing. Like this is probably a good one for doing, like I was talking about with the for the freeze dryer. So let me see if I can try one like that. Use it as a test subject. So I did this with apples. I used the mandolin and just sliced them real thin. Let's see. Good thing is if this doesn't turn out, then I can still put them in the container to be boiled. But I will say, like these pieces that don't have any seed in them, those are great. And then the ones with the seed, I would just sit here and pick out the seeds real quick. The part in the center will dry and be fine. You just don't want to do the seeds because they have so much moisture in them that they wouldn't actually dry very well. I could be wrong on that. I guess with this test batch I'll find out. But my suspicion is that it would be fine, leaving the little bit of parts that usually go around the seed. I think I would do a better job of cutting the stem part out of the top on the next one. Well, some of the ones that are then are a little bit bigger pieces. I would definitely consider using a mandolin and seeing if I can get enough together to do some freeze drying. This is a perfect example of one where I would use it for juicing, but honestly, I think it's almost too gone for that. Yeah. Well, this is all bad and I ended up with this much. That's good. I'll use that the next time I juice. Anyway. Slippery sucker. Making a mess. Some of these are really hard in the center, and so I gotta be really careful that the knife doesn't slip when I'm getting the core out. I picked these a few days ago, and they definitely needed to ripen a little more, so I left them sitting so that way they would be easier to peel and core. They were really hard, and they've definitely gotten a little sweeter and softer at this point, so more ideal for canning. A sharp paring knife is really important. If it's too dull, it will slip and you won't be able to control it. And if it's too sharp, not too sharp, but when it's super sharp, you just have to know it's super sharp, so that way you can control it really well and not hurt yourself. Some of these are smaller, like this one's kind of small, and there's a few others in that bowl that are kind of small, so I'm thinking I'm gonna do some juicing real quick. With the juicer I have, it pulls out all of the skin and the seeds and the pulp and leaves the juice only, which is why I generally just take the stem off and I don't take the time to de-seed them or peel them. I do have to get them kind of small, it seems like, because they're a little bit harder than, say, some of the other fruits I've done. Or maybe, I guess they're maybe just not as ripe. They're harder, and so the machine seems to struggle. But when I put the smaller pieces, it does just fine. All right. See how these tiny hands do carrying the whole set. Oops. Oops. Oh, got a big piece in there. It's not where I want to go. Oh, there it goes. So you can see that the machine puts the solid pieces, the skins, the pulp, and the skin, the pulp, and the seeds in here, which my chickens love this, by the way. I give that to them and they absolutely love it. And then you just get this little bit of juice at a time, but it adds up. The juice we usually save and use in mead. We have an apiary. We have 9 beehives right now, and we bottle a little bit for friends and family, but we mostly save it and make mead. And then when we add the pears, we back sweeten it a little bit and with the pears and the flavoring, and so good, so good. Oh, they're so good. We call them apple gotten pears. I guess they're Asian pears because they're really crispy. I mean, they really almost have the texture of an apple. Well, not texture. Still has that kind of a pear texture, but it has the crunchiness of an apple. I need one more bowl for pieces. Let's see, where did I thought I had, oh, I do have 4. Let's see if I have one more. This will work. The ones I'm going to juice, when I get a full bowl, then I'll do them. So that way I'm not changing stations 5 billion times. Technically when I'm juicing, I probably don't even have to take the stems off, but I mean, it's not that hard, so might as well. I'm sure the machine would, the juicer would get dull quicker if I put all of that fluid on top of all the seeds. That's my alarm to go pick up the kids. Gives me a heads up that it's getting close at least. All right. Juicer a couple years ago. It's just a cheap one off of Amazon. I definitely intend to get a little better quality one when I have to replace it, but until then, I'll just use it till it dies. When I did grape, the wild grapes, I do have a full, almost full container. So I need to get the pitcher out. That I've been storing it as I go. You can see how it settles. So that's probably mostly the pulp going to the bottom, and that's just pure juice. Actually, let's pick a few more that I can go and double rinse. I rinse them outside briefly with the water hose before I bring them in, but in case just in case, I usually rinse them. I forget sometimes too though, and it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal though. See, some of these are so tiny, itty bitty, compared to more normal. It's kind of funny. It was an off year for sure. Nope. We're not playing in the kitchen right now, guys. Bedtime. Come on, outside. Such cuties. Hands are wet. All right, let's try to use gloves again. Man, I got a scam phone call. I'm sure everybody gets those. Alright, so I'm going to save this one for doing the freeze dry because it's the biggest one out of all these. Most of these are pretty small other than that one though. This one's a good size. Sometimes I pick to peel them and put as pieces when the shape of them is pretty good, and I'll be able to keep a good portion of them and not have to worry about like the weird shapes and that make it harder to do that, to get good pieces for canning in jars. Got a bad spot. Y'all see that? Silly me. Put in the wrong bowl. It was bound to happen eventually. this one that looks good for freeze drying. Oop. Don't want to get pieces of glove in there. Make sure that goes in with the scraps. I think these gloves save my hands more than they keep things sanitary. I'm not always the most careful when I'm peeling, and I've definitely peeled my skin a few times. I'm going to wash it in the sink. What's on my floor is probably no worse than what you get on your fruits and vegetables at the grocery store. And all we do is rinse those off in the sink. So I'm just gonna use it anyway. Gotta be careful, I've cut myself on this thing so many times. So many times. It's not friendly. Let's see. Man, they're slippery. I love these pears, they're so good. So my pear tree has tons of pears on it still. And obviously you can see how slow going this process is. So I'm hoping to get through them all, but what's gonna end up probably happening is I'm gonna end up juicing a good portion of it and freezing it. There's just no way that I can peel for canning all of these pears. It just takes too long. But I do need to have just enough for making some preserves. My daughter loves pear preserves, pear butter. And so I have to make that. And like I said, I want to experiment with the freeze drying. So I'm going to keep saving up those and start freezing them for until I get enough to do that. Now it's time to put these in the container for the Instapot, and hopefully I can get started on that before long. So in here, I just have some water with lemon, and that just helps preserve them so they don't turn brown. I'm at about, actually, I don't need much more. I'm at about half of a pot here, and so I might just go ahead and get them boiled down and do this whole batch as preserves. Okay, kind of like that idea because once I know I have enough preserves, then I know I can just juice the rest and don't have to worry about running out of the stuff we use every day. I don't make anything to sell. We give things away sometimes, but none of this is sold. We just are trying to provide for our family with the things that we grow on the property. Anyway, I guess I'm gonna go get the Instapot.